Hello and welcome to ReactiveTerrain RC, and we don't unbox rigs, we unleash them. And in this episode, we pit not one, but two HPI Venture 18th scale against rock, mud and reality. One brushed, one brushless. And only one comes out on top. Crawling, drifting, wheelies and some very real surprises. So let's get into it. There's the vibrant red brushed Ventura 18, slow, steady and unnervingly sure-footed, like a mountain goat on cruise control. It walks the rocks with clean, predictable throttle. There's no drama, no twitches, it just moves. It won't win any drag races, but in the slow stuff, it feels like it was built for war. The motor doesn't punch, it just does what it needs to do, and it crawls exactly where you want it. Then there's this one, the brushless flux version. It doesn't crawl, it attacks. One blip of the throttle and it's either climbing, spinning or doing something your tyres probably didn't agree to. It's wild, unhinged, honestly kind of awesome when you're not trying to thread a rock gate. The torque is there, almost too much. It drifts through the dirt and it pulls wheelies on command and turns trail crawling into stunt driving. But the power comes at a cost, especially when finesse matters. Driving this thing is like sipping whiskey whilst wearing hiking boots. Calm, precise, and surprisingly effective over questionable terrain. It won't blow your mind, but it'll quickly walk past the flipping brushless rig whilst humming to itself. This is the tortoise in the world, full of rabbits on Red Bull. You don't wrestle with it, it just suggests where it's got to go, and nods politely and makes it happen. And the whole time I'm driving this version, I'm thinking, when can I just slam it into second gear and pull the throttle? Okay, so let's just look at these things. Just look at it. It's not just a scaled crawler, it's a rolling time machine. With that boxy stance and square headlights, and its perfect little mirrors that flap around like it's on its third trail of the day. This isn't just an RC, it's every kid's dream truck from the 1985s, shrunk down to tiny little shelf size. You half expected Marty McFly to jump in and slam the door and say something about needing more power. And honestly, they nailed the vibe. From the chrome wheels to those bumpers and spot lamps, it oozes SR5 energy and is this scaled model of feeling you had when you were 10, watching off-road VHS tapes and thinking, someday I'll drive that. Well now, you kinda can. So while I go and put the kettle on, sometimes it's better just to watch them in action. No talking, no scoring, no judging, just the machines and the wild. Alright, now I'm back from me tea and me custard creams. Let's talk about what really matters. When you're just barrel rolling or wheeling or jumping routes, durability. And surprisingly, both of these little rigs are tougher than they look. The brush one, well, it runs through everything we put it through. The roots, the grass, the mud. Diving down hills, diving up hills. It just kept ticking along like a little tiny trail terminator. The brushless? Well, it took an absolute beating too. In fact, it took more of a beating mainly because it's so fast and so hard to control when you've got it full throttle. But credit where it's due, nothing broke, no lost lenses, no lost wing mirrors, no lost wiper blades that constantly flap around either. And these things are great. The body flexes, the bumpers absorb, and the chassis, well, it shrugs everything off you throw at it. It can survive kids, G-Dog, and trail tantrums. Not saying they're indestructible, but we also weren't being gentle, and so far they're laughing it off. Alright, let's lift their tops and take a peek inside. Not in a weird way, more in a responsible RC enthusiastic way. We're talking ESCs, motors, and enough cabling to give G-Dog palpitations, but we're going to let him finish this nice little line, and then we're going to take a good look inside. Alright, let's start with the lady in red, the brushed version. It's got a 370 size brushed motor, an integrated 3-in-1 ESC, a receiver, drag brake, and waterproof electronics. It's simple, no nonsense, and honestly, kind of bomb-proof. It's not flashy, but it just works. And then there's this one, a whole different beast. Running a 12-pole Outrunner brushless motor, it's got an independent ESC with an adjustable drag brake. LiPo ready, sensorless, and absolutely furious. It's got power for days, and you're gonna want to tune it right, or it's just gonna be a throttle chaos. And yes, before you ask, it does need a programmable card if you actually want to tame it. Without one, it's a bit like trying to discipline a raccoon with a whistle. It looks great, it sounds mad, but it doesn't always listen. Now this is where the rubber quite literally meets the rocks. Both rigs come fitted with a proper scaled off-road wheel and tyres, and they're in this form of a 1.2. And they're not just for show. They've got sidewall flex, realistic treads, and just enough squidge to bite into whatever trail nonsense is going to throw at them. You're probably not going to win no competitions with the compound, but they're not plastic donuts either. These things actually grip. Okay, so underneath both rigs is a 4-link suspension setup, front and rear. Just classic stuff, nothing fancy, but surprisingly capable. The shocks are oil-filled, soft enough for crawling and firm enough to stop it from looking like some flopping around trout on descents. You will get a little body lean, and you'll get the flex, and you'll absolutely get that slow, satisfying articulation we all watch way too closely. And let's talk about the axles. They're solid housing, they have metal gears inside. They're a decent clearance for a 1/18 scale as well. They're not portals and they're not titanium, but they do the job, and better yet, they haven't imploded yet, which is a bonus. And the one thing I really like about this as well, it's got proper scaled width. They don't poke out the sides like some clown shoes, or the suspension jacked up to high hilts, which is more than we can say for some of the rigs we see on social media. And overall, it's not bad. It's a really tidy setup. It's got a bit of flex, it's got a bit of grip, it's got a little bit of bounce, in all the right places. and it's like the RC equivalent of a well-worn hiking boot. I may have mentioned this, but this brushless system just has ridiculous amount of torque and power, which means you can take your SR5 Tokyo drifting. Well, it is a rental. And then there's this one, the red one. We weren't sure going in, and it hasn't got the tech, and it's not the most powerful, but it just works every time. It handles the trail, it looks brilliant doing it, and somehow it's the one we keep reaching for. There's something about it, maybe the scale feel, maybe the simplicity, maybe it's just it does the job without throwing a tantrum. Either way, it's the sort of becoming our favourite. Quietly, reliably, without fuss, and in a hobby full of upgrades, that's oddly refreshing. So let's sit back, relax, and just enjoy the brushed version of the HPI Venture 18. And just because we don't want it throwing a tantrum, let's take a look at how bat crap crazy the brushless version really is. Alright, so here's some tech on both models, and that's the trail over, the tech torque and the tyre torture sorted. But if you skipped all the way and landed right here at the end, well, first of all, shame on you, but also welcome. Now it's time for a real chat, us, the camera, and some brutal honesty final thoughts. So grab a brew and settle in. Here's what we really think face to face.
All right, so there you go, the Venture 18 by HPI, and we have the privilege of having a brushed and brushless to try out.
We do.
They're not ours, so we have had to be semi-gentle.
Well, we made sure that the lights...
Yeah. I mean, the lenses for all the spotlights
they're still on,
have stayed on, and yeah, these are great little trail trucks. They look really cool. I mean, look, it's the Back to the Future look. You know, this is it. You know, this is the 80s childhood dream off-roader.
Yeah, definitely.
Or at least 4x4 anyway. So it's just super good. The scales are nice. You know, we haven't lost any wing mirrors. I have had a little problem with my wipers, as in they just kind of end up like that all the time. So that's a little annoying. So I think I would end up having to kind of glue them in place. Although you've had no issues
I've
with
had
yours.
no issues. Mine have stayed. Yeah,
No.
see?
So, and the other little thing that I noticed with these is that if you're kind of out on a trail and you're kind of bashing around a bit, your body actually moves slightly forwards or slightly backwards, should I say, when you hit it. And so that you have to then readjust it so that you don't get wheel rub. So I have noticed that quite a lot today.
But also over some of the bigger bumps, you get quite a lot of wheel rub.
Yeah, I definitely seem to get more wheel rub on this one than I heard yours.
Yeah.
The body clip on this though is really nice. It's like a little turn tap right at the front. You can just see it. I put a little icon there, and that literally is a little tap. You just turn it into the location of opening the bonnet, and voila. They are super easy.
G-Dog friendly.
They
I
are
like
very
it.
G-Dog friendly.
You know, I like that.
Yeah, not having to pinch anything or worry about magnets kind of throwing off. But yeah, you do notice that the body does kind of bounce back slightly, and you have to kind of reposition it. All right, so let's recap on the brushless. The brushless is actually running the 12-12-3, although this says 3450 kV, and the LC80 that I recently reviewed was a 3500. So they're probably both the same, in all fairness.
Yeah, possibly.
Maybe they just rounded it up and rounded it down depending on kind of what they did. And this is running the full Furitech system in, and yeah, it is nice. However, it rolls over a lot in that second gear, and it's got quite a lot of punch for a little rig. It's quite light, so it kind of just throws itself around. I spent more time on my side than G-Dog, and that's saying something.
That means I'm good at driving.
Yeah,
today.
and you know, its first gear is great. It's, you know, got nice smooth control. I don't know if I noticed any climbing difference when I was playing with the brushless and playing with the brushed, purely because they're exactly the same rig. They've got the same tires, the same everything. You know, there's no real significant upgrades to kind of warrant the brushless, other than it is a little smoother, a little easier to control.
It is a little slower on the crawl.
Yeah,
but it's blisteringly quick.
yeah, and it does just kind of whiz off.
Yeah,
there's no weight to it to kind of hold it down when you pull the trigger.
Whereas this one, I actually like driving this one, and I think you said you might prefer this one.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about the second gear on that is that you get that wheel speed, but it's not out of control.
No.
So it does give you enough kick to kind of get up and do stuff, but it doesn't actually cause you any problems with it.
Even
kind
though I
of
did
fling
end
off.
up on the side quite a few times, but I think it's more, I think this is more controllable.
Yeah. But overall, I mean, I think the build quality and the look of them are fantastic.
You can't fault that.
No,
I think
not at all.
Out the box, they're pretty good rigs. Yes, they are.
We have definitely thrown them around today. Like I say, we've been a little bit gingerly with them because they're not ours. But it was good to be able to get a brushed and a brushless together and compare them. And second gear is miles apart, but I have to say first gear, other than it being a little smoother to control with the brushless, they're not that far between it. And with a little bit of adjustment on your controller with the brushed, you can actually get it really nice and responsive.
Yeah.
And it pulled no different lines to the brushless.
No, so it's, you know,
I personally think this is I don't know, I think
for me, I would buy this one.
Yeah.
The only thing I did say to you is if I had the money to throw more weight onto yours, I think that's what
I
would
think
be good,
if you bought
but-
the brushed, you could probably just enjoy it without hardly any upgrades.
Yeah.
Because that actually works really well. Unless you want it to become a really capable rock crawler, then obviously that will require
I understand that,
a
but
bit
do you know
more.
what? We try and make these rock crawlers, but I think they're great trail
trucks.
You
But
know,
the
they are what
brushless,
they
I
are.
think you're going to want to put a little bit more weight all round it, so that when you're using that second gear punch, it's a little bit more bedded down, a bit more stable, because it's just too light. It's too light for its power, and it just flings off like a cat on hot coals.
It does look better than yours because it's in black and it's got the, you know, the...
Yeah, the retro amber lighting and the black
Yeah,
does look good.
it does.
But
I don't know, for me, as you say, they're both identical trucks.
yeah.
Apart from one's brushless, one isn't.
Monetary difference, personally I'd go brushed.
Yeah.
I really would. So there you go. That's the HPI Venture 18, and that's our honest review.
Yeah.
So
And a good trail today.
and a good
You know,
trail. Been out for a few hours. The batteries lasted ages.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah, we didn't drive them everywhere though.
No, well, you
admit
can't.
that.
You can't drive them
We
everywhere.
carried it some of the
But
way.
we put them through some gnarly pieces.
Yeah.
You know, they got wrapped up. They barrel rolled. Nothing broke. All right, guys. Until the next one. We shall see you soon. I don't know what we're going to review. Oh, maybe there's a few things in the box at
There's
home.
always a few things.
There's a few
in
things.
there.
So keep posted. And on that note, make sure you smash the subscribe button
Hit the like button,
and the notification bell.
and I'll see you next time.